Symphony Orchestra. What's so proudly we him at the twilight whose fortune and the bright stars through the pale skies were a rainbow sweet heart were so cannot reach the dream. Then the rockets and the land of bursting in air came through one night that our flag was streaming clear. Oh, Satan's bags are And now we have a very, very special pledge of allegiance from the one and only Mr. Andrew Suarez.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we retire the colors.
Not from somewhere else. Okay.
I now call on George Altman, United States District Judge, Southern District of Florida. Judge Altman is a true friend of our honoree tonight, and we give him a big welcome for his remarks for the special occasion for his friend.
I don't know why you clap. All right. You know, my wife and I were watching an episode of The Crown last night, the episode where the Queen gets invested. And it struck me in thinking about what I would say here today. How far we've strayed, how different we've become from our philosophical predecessors.
Is this the mic here? Yeah, that's the mic.
His answer, you see, when you got invested, when you got sworn in those places, the archbishop would hand you a scepter and your head with oil, turning you into a fact, into a god. In Miami, you get me. No archbishop, no silver scepter, no holy oil. We just complain to you all the time and pay you part-time wages. You like that. You may have heard that France is pretty famous these days. It's incredible, actually. Rachel and I, we have family all over the world. We've got family in England, in Israel, in Venezuela, in Mexico. They've never heard of Antonin Scalia or Ruth Bader Ginsburg. They've never heard of Mitch McConnell or Chuck Schumer. They've never even heard of Derek Jeter or Dwayne Wade. But they all love Francis. They love watching Francis on TV. They love calling me when they've seen Francis on TV. Get this. My mother-in-law, who is an English grandmother from East London, calls him, and I quote, the hot mayor. And she even follows him on Instagram. We didn't even know she had Instagram. But it wasn't always that way. More likely, I was hyperventilating that thought. Until we got back to my point. That on the back of his t-shirt, imprinted in giant gold letters, was one word, mayor. So after that, I started running around with an Aaron Judge jersey, but no one said, hey, Judge. I don't know what happened. But the truth is that Francis has struck a chord with the people of our city, and I think with the people of our country. And in trying to summarize for you why that is, I've come up with a few thoughts. At a time when we caricature our leaders, turn them into the paragon of every virtue, or the epitome of all vice, Francis has remained remarkably human. He is remarkably real. He struggles like the rest of us, but perseveres. When he fails or falters through his faith and his family, he finds strength and renewal. He's dignified and respectful, even to those who disagree with him. Though he's not pushing these days. And he listens. You know he listens because half Miami has a cell phone number. He listens. He reflects, he cares deeply about getting things right and about doing things the right way. A style of leadership, a kind of living, a form of humanity that Lincoln once called true and righteous altogether. So what can I tell you about my friend Francis? He's smart as a whip and loves to read. He loves his family and his friends, of whom he has many. He's dedicated his whole life, folks, to the service of this community we've all come to love together. And whether you agree with him or not, his efforts unquestionably arise from a deep commitment, not to one party or demographic, who needs that, but to country and his ideas about freedom and fairness, about poverty and the environment, about transparency and ethical leadership, strike at the very core of what it means, to me anyway, to be an American leader in the 21st century. He is, in short, a wonderful husband and father and son, a devoted public servant in the old tradition, a model citizen, a true friend. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor today to introduce to you the 80th President of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Miami's mayor, and my friend, Francis Suarez.
We honor and inaugurate our new presidents. Others too have led the way as presidents of some former presidents are with us tonight. First, from your hometown, the mayor that did so much that has transformed Miami to the city it is today, Manny Diaz, our president, 2008-2009. From Denver, Colorado, Wellington Well, our president, 99-2000. From Trenton, New Jersey, Mayor Doug Palmer, who served for almost 2 years, 2006-2008. From Rochester Hills, Michigan, our president of 2019-2020, Brian Barnett. And Steve Benjamin from Columbia, South Carolina, who served from 2018-2019. We also have with us tonight from Columbus, Ohio, a trustee, Mayor Andy Ginter. And let's all have a big welcome for the Florida mayors. Please stand. Mayor Ortiz, Mayor Benitez, Mayor Daniela Vincada. Tonight we recognize the father of our honoree, Suarez. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the moment has come as we present to you the leader of a new generation of mayors. Let the word go forward to Washington and to the world that this mayor, along with all the other mayors and with our business community, we will support throughout our metro economies where 85% of the people live and 95% of the jobs come from, to make our nation even stronger and even better. And so now, 124 mayors have served this city. He is the first to be born in Miami. I could not be prouder than to announce to you the 90th President of the United States Conference of Mayors, Mayor President Suarez. Bring the First Lady into Mr. President.
Thank you so much, Tom. And if I've learned anything, I've learned that I will never have someone that's taller, better looking, and smarter introduce me ever again. Thank you, Roy. And when I was deciding what I was going to say, probably the hardest decision that I had to make was whether I was going to read my speech or whether I was going to give it extemporaneously. And when I heard Rabbi talking about Moses, I said, maybe the Holy Spirit will give me the words to say what needs to be said. And then, of course, and I knew this was going to happen when Roy got up here. He does the whole thing extemporaneous, doesn't ever look down, has the whole thing memorized, or he comes up with it in the moment. It's just incredible. It's from the heart. And so, therefore, I have to give it also from the heart. So I apologize. Yes. So I apologize in advance to Jeremy who wrote it. And I apologize to Tom who paid for the prompter. But he did tell me, he gave me a piece of advice. He said, Mr. Maya, you got to speak slower, Mr. Mayor. You got to speak slower. And I said, I'm Cuban. And we start drinking Cuban coffee at about 2 in the afternoon. Well, once we get that coffee going, nothing happens slowly in the city of Miami. It's beautiful to be here and wonderful to be with all of you today. I really have so many people to thank. And if I don't begin with my wife, I'm not sleeping in bed tonight. So let me begin with my beautiful and lovely wife. My son who gave that amazing rendition of the Pledge of Allegiance, and my daughter who couldn't be here with us today. They are the ones that give me purpose, and I want to thank them for all their support. I couldn't do this without them. Of course, I want to thank my father and my mother, my parents who have guided me, who have stuck with me in the good moments and the difficult moments. They're all good moments. Just as my sisters. And of course, my amazing sisters who are sort of my North Star. They are some of the most exceptional people in the world that maybe you've never heard of, but you will in the future. I want to thank the elected officials of the city of Miami, my commissioners who are here. A few of them, please stand up. Christine and Commissioner Isla. And the ones that couldn't be here, who I know wanted to be here, Commissioner Carollo, to thank him for this amazing facility where we can give this beautiful speech and enjoy this gorgeous day. I want to thank Commissioner Reyes, who couldn't be here, and obviously Commissioner Russell, whose district we're in. I'm not sure if he was able to make it. I want to thank my friends, or many of them are in the back over there. Mayor Lago, who's back there, Vince Lago. Thank you so much for being here. All the mayors from Dade County who are here, thank you so much for being here. So much to see you and all of you. Thank you. I want to thank the former presidents, all of which, in their own way, have guided me. In particular, I'm going to go from left to right so that nobody calls me out later, but Steve Benjamin, who was president 3 before, is someone that I try to emulate every single day. He's someone who has this incredible ability to tell people what they don't want to hear and say it in such a nice way. I've never seen anyone do that better than him. Brian, who was his successor, and Mayor Diaz, I remember when they were both coming in, and you guided me when I was just a commissioner and said, hey, you really need to integrate with the Conference of Mayors. You need to become a part of the Conference of Mayors, and you need to get involved in the Conference of Mayors. And you helped guide me through that process, and I'm so grateful and thankful for your guidance and for your mentorship as well. But these are the gentlemen that are responsible, along with the executive committee that selected me, for me being up here today. So thank you so much. Please give them a round of applause. employees of the city of Miami, without which this day would not be possible, particularly our first responders, police officers who are here. Please give a big round of applause for our police officers. Our firefighters. And all our general employees. I want to thank the beautiful Miami Symphony and Maestro. Thank you so much. You've helped make this such a beautiful day for me and for everyone who's here. I want to say a little bit about mayors. Recently former mayor, Bill Paduto of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, once told me, you know, Mr. Mayor, in America, there's 3 parties. I said, really, Bill? What are they? He goes, there's Republicans, there's Democrats, and there's mayors. Here at the Conference of Mayors, we are like a mayoral support group. They're laughing because they know exactly what I'm talking about. We not only promulgate best practices through the leadership of Tom, the conference, and his executive staff, which is phenomenal. Why don't we give them a round of applause for this incredible night. But we're there for each other. We lean on each other. It's not just about best policies. It's also about what you're going through. Leadership can be a lonely venture. And having someone to talk to, having someone to commiserate with, having someone to bounce things off of is incredibly important. Every single event that I've gone to, and I know the mayors can relate, it's, you know, we talk about the issues that are before us. We talk about our struggles. We talk about our successes and our failures. I think it was LeBron James that once said, I'm just a young man from Akron. I'm not supposed to be here. So there's a lot of reasons why I shouldn't be here. You know, we all always like to talk about the reasons why we should be here, why our own decisions, our own actions led us to this moment. But today I want to talk about the reasons why I shouldn't be here. The first goes back to something that happened today. Today, a young man, junior in high school, got accepted into my alma mater. He was a young man who had an issue at another school. And thankfully, the school that I went to, after some poking and prodding, welcomed him with open arms for the first day of the next semester. That was me 27 years ago. I was that boy trying to figure out what I was going to do with myself, who I was going to be, what I was about. And so you see someone up here, and I think sometimes you get the impression that we're perfect or that we perfection about us. But the truth is we're all struggling day in and day out to make sure that we can be the best versions of ourselves. The second, what my godfather would call Godfidence, is, and this is, I think my chief of staff or my former chief of staff reminded me of this morning, Mike Llorente. I don't know if he's back there somewhere. Where are you, Mike? I know you're here somewhere. There you go. My first chief of staff. He reminded me this morning, I got into a little argument with him because I said I had gotten elected by 262 votes when I first ran. People always talk about the fact that I got elected by 85% or the fact that I got reelected by 80% or close to 80%. People often forget that I was first elected by 260 votes. Mark remembers that. 260 votes. So if 261 people, less than the size of the crowd here today, would have just stayed home, not voted, I probably wouldn't be here today. If 131 people would have changed their mind, I definitely would not have been here today. But we always focus on the successes. We never focus on the failures. We choose to forget that the first time that I ran for mayor didn't turn out so good. And that the first time that I tried to become a strong mayor didn't work out so well. And I remember having those conversations with Steve before I tried to do that. And the reason why I say that is because our strength is forged in our adversity. Today, as I was preparing to speak, and of course read through the prompted speech a bunch of times, I saw someone in the back over there who happened to be laying down, and I walked up to him and I said, "It looks pretty comfortable." He had, it was breezy, the temperature was nice, he had found some shade. He says, "It's not really comfortable." And I said to him, "What's your name? Where are you from?" He said, "My name is Tyler, and I'm from," get this, Dayton, Ohio. Some people here understand the significance of hearing that today because the outgoing president is from Dayton, Ohio. So I took it as a sign and I asked him, "What led you to be in this state?" And he said, "I have 4 brothers and they picked on me relentlessly. Relentlessly." He said, "I didn't have to worry about bullying at school." He said, "I actually later on had to worry about bullying at school, but I was bullied at home." And so when you think about people like that and our mission to eradicate homelessness and to eradicate it across America, you think about how difficult it is, how far behind some people are, and how sometimes they just need someone to listen, just to hear them, and to find a way to get them back to where they need to be. Our Miami story has evolved. It's evolved from mayor to mayor to mayors that are not here, like Mayor Foray and his wife, who one of my staff members spoke to today. She gave me this beautiful tie, which is actually my favorite tie. And our story has metamorphosized from generation to generation, decade to decade. But our success is replicable, and it's simple, and it's based on some very, very basic principles. The first is we've kept taxes low. We have reduced taxes. We've reduced taxes to the second lowest rate since the 1960s. And you know what's happened? This is going to shock you. Our budget has doubled in size. So we have more resources for the Tylers of the world. And in fact, since 2003, right after Mayor Diaz took office to today, we've reduced poverty by 50% in the city of Miami, 50%. The second thing we've done is, unfortunately, and I don't mean to make this partisan in any way, and I don't think this hopefully will be, but while other cities have decided to defund their police, we have decided we are going to increase funding for our police. And I'm going to shock you with another correlation. We just added 30 new police officers. We've increased funding for our police. And thanks to the leadership of our interim chief, Manny Morales, who's in the back there. Thank you, Chief. When he took over, we were +1 in homicides from last year. And we just ended the year 25% down in homicides year over year. Now, all of us know what's happening across this country. That, unfortunately, is not something that we're seeing across America. And we all need to work together. We all need to work hard to empower our police officers. They have, quite frankly, the hardest job in America. You can clap for that. I would. Never has an employee been asked to do so much for so little with so much scrutiny in the history of our world. The third thing we've done is we have become a pro-innovation city. I have a 3-year-old who's not here today. And every single day, she shows me how to take a selfie with her pacifier. Now, if that doesn't convince you that technology is here to stay, then I don't know what else will. It's not a partisan thing. It's not a Republican thing. It's not a Democratic thing. It's a reality. Our world is changing. Our world is being disrupted, and the rate of disruption is accelerating. And so we have two choices as cities. We can pretend it's not existing and bury our head in the sand, or we can embrace that change. We can get ahead of the curve, and we can have a generation of prosperity and success for our children and our unborn grandchildren. Because of that attitude, our city is #1 in the nation in tech job growth, #1 in the nation in tech job migration. We've created thousands of high-paying jobs. Our unemployment rate is 3.7%, almost a full point. Almost a full point less than the entire state of Florida, which is at 4.5%. We moved over $1 trillion in assets under management companies to South Florida and have set ourselves up to become the epicenter of capital for a generation to come. But all of the things that have made Miami successful are easy to replicate. They can be done in any American city. Here we have a brand that we call Miami Forever. But we now, working with the mayors of this country, need to create an agenda that we call America Forever. And our America Forever brand is not just America Forever. It's an America that's here for everyone. And we're going to do it by embodying a lot of the same principles that made our city successful. And we're going to lean into things like urban air mobility and boring to solve some of our transportation issues. We're going to tackle inflation, which is something that's making the poor in our country. Those that have a bank account, unfortunately, are losing purchasing power every single day, and they're not earning interest, which is why they're seeking alternative investments like crypto. Something that the city of Miami has also leaned into. And I'm going to ask my friends, my brothers and sisters, the mayors of this country, to sign on to a mayoral crypto compact, because we need to lead in the absence of leadership. We need to make sure that a generation of prosperity and innovation is not lost because of a lack of innovative spirit. We need to make sure that our regulatory system embodies success into the future instead of stifling success as other countries like China have done by banning Bitcoin and banning Bitcoin mining. This competition that's in front of us, this collaboration that's in front of us, is one that we need to embark on together. And it's not about us, it's not about one city, it's about our children, and it's about their children. And if we ensure that we work together, that we embody the American spirit that we have etched inside of our hearts and souls, every person here has their version of what the American dream is. And for some reason, we have been made to believe that there's something wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's wonderful. We live in a great country, and we should be proud of it. It's a country that embraced my parents, my grandparents that were jailed in a jail in Cuba. And it's a country that is going to innovate its way into the future and lead us to tremendous prosperity. Last, I'll tell you that we all have a duty in our life to inspire. Yes, government is a corporation. We do certain things. We pick up the garbage. We keep you safe. We hopefully process your permits fast, right? Never fast enough. But why are you guys all smiling out of your head? But we as elected officials in America, the mayors of America, our primary duty, and I've learned this from Steve and Brian and Mayor Diaz and Doug and everyone who's here, our primary duty is to inspire each and every one of us to reach and to dream and to love and to be compassionate of others, to make sure that we stop focusing on the things that divide us and start focusing on the things that unite us. And there are many more things that unite us than divide us. If we do that together, our yesterdays will be far better. Our tomorrows, will be far better than our yesterdays. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will now call on Dr. Gaston Smith, who is the Ladies and gentlemen, Maestro Edward Martiret of the Miami Symphony Orchestra. Thank you very much. I now call on Reverend Gaston E. Smith, the senior pastor of the Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, for our benediction.
It's good to know that our presider is a Baptist too. Listen, I know that we're in a COVID context, and in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to do something as we close out. But the nation is looking, and how many of you will concur with me that we're godly proud of our mayor? Come on, let's show some love to my friend and my brother and my leader. Not only is he an amazing, awesome, anointed, and appointed leader of our city and our community, but now we see that he is an amazing, awesome, anointed, and appointed leader in our country as the 80th president of the Conference of Mayors. We're in a COVID context. Some of you are next to your family members. I'm going to ask you to take them by the hand. Those of you that are not next to family members, touch elbows, if you will, as we get ready to close out on this wonderful night. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord be gracious unto you and grant you peace. Now unto him that is able to keep you and you from falling, present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. To the only wise God, our Savior, be glory. Let us all say glory, majesty, dominion, and power, both now and forever. Give God a hand of praise.
That concludes this part of the program. You will be directed to the reception, which is that way. So staff, please direct people. We will continue our program for a wonderful reception as we go toward that area there. Thank you very much. I'd like the past presidents to come to the stage for a photo, please. Thank you. Photographers, please come forward.